Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
So, guys, we try to do our best to get up videos every day, and yesterday was the day we only got one up. It was on Evolutionary. This one, this one I'm a little touchy about putting it on EEARTS, but we're going to put it there as we have the three unique channels. And what we're delving into is the whole medical system here and giving you some history and some symbology. And I know some of you guys, the regular followers that watch us every day will understand most of this, have heard, different parts of this in different places, different, types of videos, wanted to kind of do a recap. And then for some people, this will be just big, huge, oh my gosh, time.
Well, it's about awakening, and the symbology in this is really key to awakening, and it's also key to the cycles and when it's time to shift gears. So I think they really rely on their symbology.
Absolutely. And everything is symbolically right in front of us the whole time. We've talked about how you can go into movies and just see, how everything has been just put out there in front of us in one way, shape, or form. And here you have, this is a staff. You have one snake wound around it. And you see the depiction of the world, albeit a flat one right there. And, you have these wreaths of wheat, which is another symbol, which, we don't really get into in this particular video. When you look at what is the basic foundation of medicine, healing, the healing arts, dark times, dark arts.
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely. Look at this symbol, and you'll see this symbol all over the world. What do you have? You have, a staff in the middle. You have two snakes intertwined and intersecting in apparent opposition, and then you have what looks to be wings. And here we have, what looks to be a chakra, a nice depiction of a chakra. And whether it's Mesoamerica, whether it's Egypt, whether it's Greece, whether it's anywhere, you're going to find these symbols all across the globe. You might recognize the staff of Hermes. Again, it's that same symbol. And I've really described this so many times as to what this is really representing. And one simple way of explaining this is balance. Just that simple. Balance, harmony through balance, and then the sky is the limit.
It is. I mean, there's a lot of things that come up when we talk about this issue of balance, because with balance, I think that brings extreme growth.
Yeah, we need to be balanced in order to truly grow. You've heard of the Hippocratic Oath. This is an oath that somebody put together trying to, and this is from Escape Fire, the fight to rescue American healthcare. There was a movie that they put out, and it's really, it's great that there are people that recognize what's going on. Some people know exactly what's going on, and other people, most, don't really understand. They just know that they were brought up into a system. Their parents dragged them to the doctor when they had a sniffle. They went to, the pharmacy. They got something. They came home. And, and as well as the old quote unquote folk recipes. So you're sick, so let's get some chicken soup and that type of thing. Could be different things. Some might remember castor oil, which is something that's in our house.
Can I just say something about castor oil? I would not ingest it, but during this journey, I have learned the most amazing thing about castor oil. And if you are constipated and you put that in your belly button, it's going to help. It's going to help a lot. Now, who tells you these things growing up?
Oh, there's a lot you're not told, because there's a lot of profits to be made. There's a lot of control to be maintained, and new levels of control to be enacted. You have to recognize who has given us the system that we see upon the planet. And this person is saying, as a healthcare professional, I understand that our society is increasingly burdened by chronic diseases, many of which may be minimized or even prevented through just simply healthy lifestyle changes. That's the simplest thing, Oh, wow. You have aches, pains, etc., chronic illnesses. Your immune system's not great. Well, what are you eating? That should be the first thing. The first question should be, what's your diet like? And what other environmental factors are you subject to? Where do you live? What's the house like? What's the building like? Whatever your situation is. You have to take all these things into consideration. As I shared with you guys, when I got Lyme's disease, I rolled into a doctor of naturopathy and also a Chinese medical doctor, herbologist, acupuncturist, massage therapist. This is all wrapped in one person. And the first appointment was like 1.5 to 2 hours. And the first questions was, how are you? And, what's your emotional state? How's your marriage? How do you like your job? When does your MD ever ask you these type of questions? I mean, seriously, because again, we are holistic beings, and the knowing that our emotions and what we're subject to every day has a huge impact upon our health. So this person goes on with this and says, my role within this society is to restore, maintain, and enhance the health of my patient by offering guidance, hope, and advocacy. My actions and inactions reflect my priorities, influence my credibility, and affect the well-being of my patient. My position therefore causes me to lead by example and practice healthy lifestyle behaviors compared to those I would ask of my patient. Have you ever seen some of the health czars on this planet? They are some of the most unhealthy looking people you can imagine, and they're put into positions that should be exemplary, where you should be the very definition of what health looks like. Yeah, everything in the system is really, it's truly a travesty. And in some cases, it's so laughable, it will make you cry, because it's just insane that people follow without understanding who, when, where, and why.
The definition of insanity really is to keep doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. And let's just look back a little bit on our medical system and our justice system. The justice system creates so much corruption and injustice. It's just such a joke. In the medical system that we have, people are continuing to get sicker and sicker and sicker, but no one really sits and recognizes it. It's like there's this cognitive dissonance inside the soul that people are just like, it's invisible to them. I guess the consequences are invisible to them. They can see what is going on, but, we're not doing enough.
No, and the reality of this symbol is that it really is giving you an illustration of the creative power of the life force energy that lies dormant in most people. In the base of the spine, it's typified as a serpent coiled up. The intersection points of the two serpents are where your chakras are. There's also nerve plexus in these locations in the body. These are the major center points of the nerve plexuses in the body. And again, it's the Ida and the Pingala, which are the masculine and the feminine channels, the yin and the yang channels. When they're raised in balance, then we will be able to create the conditions where the life force energy can flow through the Sushumna, which is the central channel. These are energy channels in the body. And when it rises up and there's no blockages in your chakras, because again, emotional trauma will cause blockages in the chakras, which will keep you from having this flowing life force energy, which will give you your wings, build your Merkaba, and allow you to move through different densities. This is everything. This is everything. And what they have done is they have chickens in a coop and they've clipped the wings. The chickens can't fly. Humanity can't fly. They've clipped humanity's wings. And, you can get your wings and fly if you take the time to develop the natural energy flow through meditation and through practices like yoga and qigong and the like. Again, humanity is in a TikTok mentality for a reason. They don't want you having the patience. They don't want you exuding the effort to develop yourself spiritually, because it takes time. And so they cultivate that I'm in a rush, I don't have time mentality with everything that we see on this planet. They don't want you going within. They don't want you taking a deep breath and reflecting. Oh no, we got to keep the little rat on the wheel. Keep that mouse running and it'll never know, the big mysteries and secrets of life. Tell them, hey, everything's fine. You're going to go to the most blissful state possible. All you got to do is say some words and then go back to your drinking, gambling, all the horrible things that you might be doing, or maybe you're not doing them. All you got to do is say some words and no work is needed. Yeah, I mean, this is absolutely the worst of the snake oil salesman mentality. And it comes from our own systems that are in place that you're told to trust in. So again, this is all about spiritual awakening. This is all about growing. This is about enlightenment. This is about ascension. And when we look at the symbol, it was used as a symbol of medicine in ancient times, going back before the Romans and the Greeks. As again, the Romans and the Greeks in so many ways are some of the foundation points. Really, it comes from the Sumerian, Akkadian, and again, the A word, those that come from the sky. That's where the system comes from. It's a draconian system. As you see, this is 1902 U.S. Army Medical Corps symbol. And this is from 1582, this painting here. Now, we see it in different ways, and we see when we're going to go take a look at the true imbalance of the world with the rod of Asclepius. And this is another ancient symbol that goes back to the Greek mythology. Now, again, what they've done is they've kind of given us a twisting and a distortion everywhere you look of natural law and the way things truly are. And when we look at this, you only have one energy circuit that's running along the Sushumna. So what's that going to do? It's not going to do anything. It's going to keep you from getting your wings. It's going to keep you from having an activated pineal gland. There's a lot of other things that keep you from an activated pineal gland as well. When we look to the Eye of Horus and the falcon, I mean, this is again, that eye, the all-seeing eye, is the third eye, because you don't have to go anywhere to see. You just have to think and focus, and you can. We can remote view. That's just a gift that we have. It's an ability that we have when we're not in the dark age, and when we haven't fallen to prey to their dark medicines. As you see, a pineal gland fluoride is deposited here as the result of fluoridated products. Make sure to go get your fluoride treatment, Johnny. Gotta calcify that pineal gland. Can't have you waking up and realizing it's all about money and control.
If you look into fluoride, it's probably the worst, one of the absolute worst things for us. And yet they push it and they put it in public water, and they've used it in other certain camps to keep people docile and to keep them from asking questions. And you can have abilities, you can have information come through your pineal gland, but when that information comes through and you're very out of balance and you're only seeing things from one perspective, you're not getting the whole picture. And this is where things can kind of go wrong. And that's why we're always talking about balance and healing your emotions, because then you're getting the full picture of the information that you're supposed to get for this journey.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I mean, the death by fluoride, yeah, it's rat poison. It was marketed as rat poison. This was, sold everywhere as rat poison, pesticide. Absolutely. Look at how they were suiting up to go and move some fluoride. Oh, swish it in your mouth now. Go ahead. Don't worry. It's fine. The doctor said so. Yeah, sure. Tell me another. Why? Why is the symbolism all over the Vatican? And then we were pointing out Baphomet before. And Baphomet is real and is a construct of the control system. But again, thought forms can become real when they're given energy. And really, when you look at this, why is this down here at the belly? Because there is no upper chakra connection. So right here, the symbolism, and by the way, you can see the Pope staff. The symbolism is that the Kundalini is cut off from the higher echelon, the higher chakras. So in other words, living a carnal life, in other words, being stuck in 3, 4D, never rising above. This is what the symbols are. And, one of the things that they really don't want you understanding is Baphomet is all about AI. It's all about AI control.
And that's something that I think we should probably, we could dedicate a whole video on the AI being there to make our decisions, the AI that wants to take over, that cannot create anything new. All it can do is reproduce what it sees originally from source.
And there's many people out there that because of having a fundamentalist background, they'll point things out and say, see, this is all just pagan. They're still pagan. They're pagan. And they don't understand what they're saying at all. Again, where's this pine cone right here? Why is there a pine cone here and it's cut off? And with the Osiris staff, you see the pine cones at the top and it's like a flame flickering. Because again, the controllers want your energy cut off. They don't want you to be illuminated. Absolutely not. They need you to be cut off. The pinecone symbolism is everywhere, all through the Vatican, again. And when we look at these other beings like Owans, there's a tendency to say Owans is Enki and Owans is, there are different beings, distinct energies that come off of each of these different beings. There's been many, many different races upon the planet. When you look at all the organizations that are in place, look at, remember that symbol? Yeah, there it is. WHO. How the WHO is funded? Well, the reality is the taxes that are stolen from us are part of the biggest contributing funding to the WHO. As you see, this was from 2022. So, you here in the U.S., we all are contributing to them doing this to us. China, Japan, Germany, we can see, how it goes. But there are other contributors that are there besides the nations that, and the taxation of the nations. The BNMG Foundation. BMG Foundation. Wow, number 2. Look at that. Wow, look at that. Isn't that something? And there's that symbol. Yeah. When we look to these captains of industry, John D. Rockefeller, oil, well, I should say medicine, modern medicine. He is the father of modern medicine. An oil baron, absolutely. Andrew Carnegie, steel. Yeah, and the Foundation for the Arts and all the philanthropy. The philanthropy is investment, is what it is. J.P. Morgan, Chase, banking, and William Vanderbilt. Yeah, when you look at these captains of industry, read their energies. Are they warm and fuzzy guys? No. Do you see a lot of open heart chakras? No, I see black holes in the center of these people. An intimate view of a chapter in the life of John D. Rockefeller, written by Frederick T. Gates, Mr. Rockefeller's representative. A thrilling and interesting tale of high finance. involving millions, intrigue, treachery, and attempts at blackmail. ... Oh, there's the Gates fellow right there. By the way, they've done as much of a wash as they can to cover another famous person, that Gil Bates guy. And the reality is, there's always been this indiscretions. There's indiscretions that happen as my lovely wife is giving me this smile, like, be careful. but at the same time, like, she's pleasantly pleased. Here is Reverend Frederick T. Gates, business advisor to John D. Rockefeller Sr. Yeah, Reverend. Oh, church-going folk. Big time. Absolutely. So he used to go to church, and so did J.D. In our dreams, we have limitless resources. The people yield themselves with perfect docility to our molding hand. The present educational conventions fade from our minds, and unhampered by tradition, we work our own goodwill upon a grateful and responsive rural folk. We shall not try to make these people or any of their children into philosophers or men of learning or of science. We are not to raise up amongst them authors, orators, poets, or men of letters. We shall not search for embryo great artists, painters, or musicians, nor will we cherish even the humbler ambition to raise up from among them lawyers, doctors, preachers, statesmen, or of whom we now have ample supply. Yeah, and that's Frederick T. Gates, the business advisor to John D. Rockefeller. And Rockefeller himself has said, I don't want to help anybody really learn. I don't need a nation of knowledgeable people. I need workers. I need slaves. Perfect docility. Giving away your power. Grateful and responsive rural folk. Well, that's what pagan people were. People out, the rural people. The people that were out in nature. The people that worked the land. Think about how that has become a term that is used. It really truly is used in a derogatory manner, and I find that really reprehensible, honestly, that you would view it in a derogative. Oh, they're pagans. Yeah, we didn't fall for it. Hello.
And I want to step back for a moment when it comes to medicine and understanding that there's the science part of things, and then there's the healer part of things. But what was funded were a whole bunch of scientists who were able to do some experiments and come up with little band-aids for every little emotional owie that we could come up with life. And as those band-aids get layered on to the soul, the soul stops growing. And the healers were pushed to the side because what they looked for would be the root of the problem. Where does it come from in your soul, and help make that soul whole instead of putting a band-aid over it. So one was deliberately funded for a business and the other was pushed out of the way, and that's where we're at.
As we see William H. Gates Sr. With David Rockefeller and David Rockefeller Jr. So yeah, if you search the family lines of the current Gil Bates, you'll see this in the family tree. You won't see the other in the family tree that's been, again, whitewashed and corrected. But we have gotten that is the case. Absolutely, it is the case. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and all you got to do is read the energy. In 1907, the AMA, the American Medical Association, involved the Carnegie Foundation in elaborating a book-length study of medical education. Now, again, we refer back to that other photo talking about the captains of industry, and you see Carnegie was right there. These are cohorts in business. This is all about business. And this is the Flexner Report on Medical Education in the United States and Canada in 1910. As you see, a little business card there, AMA, and the Rockefeller Foundation, along with the Carnegie Foundation, Advancement of Teaching. This all goes together, the FDA. these are the authorities. And, here you have an old school article, as you can see, Factories for the Making of Ignorant Doctors. Carnegie Foundation's startling report that incompetent physicians are manufactured by wholesale in the country. So, they gave one example, said we need to follow this example, and they wiped out everything pretty much, remade it in their image. And, they created the business of Western medicine because it is a business. Repeat customers are the best thing for business. Think about that. If you are selling something, would it be good to make a sale? Of course. Would it be good to make a sale once a month? Yeah, with the same person? Sure. That's wonderful, is it not? What if you had to see them every week? What if every day they depended on taking something that you were selling to just stay alive? Well, then you'd really have them, wouldn't you?
And, that's where the morbidity of this system lies, is no, they're not above that. They don't mind putting people on things that they need to be on for the rest of their life. They don't mind that at all. And so many people struggle with that. And they continue on and they take these things, and it's just really sad because it's just covering up the soul growth. Your soul is not expanding. It's like the problems are expanding. So this is where we need to stop and pause and ask ourselves, where are we in life? What is going on? And learn more about nutrition, learn more about natural alternatives. It can take years to put yourself back to a whole, and sometimes you spend the rest of your life doing that. So this is a system, from cradle to grave. They're going to keep you, and it doesn't bother them one bit.
So I'm just going to read some of this article because I think it was fairly well put together. As a alternative medical practitioner, I have a lot of conversations with patients who are disenchanted with the current Western medical system. The disenchantment is both related to the quality of the care they receive and also the way in which the business of Western medicine is conducted. This post is a brief historical look at the business of Western medicine. This article will not directly address aspects of patient care. Instead, it will focus on the origins of our current medical business model. As somebody who has been practicing medicine for over 10 years, this is the author speaking, I try to keep an open mind and appreciate both the good and the bad that coexist in the Western system. In order to understand our current medical system, it is helpful to look back at the history of medicine in America. The business story of Western medicine in the modern sense starts with John D. Rockefeller, who lived between 1839 and 1937. That's a long life. In a dark age. Rockefeller is widely considered the wealthiest American of all time and the richest person in modern history. He is probably the most famous for securing a monopoly in America's oil market at first. But people haven't heard the rest of the story and that monopoly that is modern medicine. By the turn of the 20th century, Rockefeller controlled 90% of all petroleum refineries in America through the ownership of Standard Oil Corporation. It later split into Mobil, Chevron, and Exxon, etc. Concurrently, around 1900, the science world was getting excited about new petrochemicals and the ability to create a variety of new compounds from oil. Some of the first products derived from petrochemicals were plastics. But organic chemists knew that oil had potential for far more than plastic toys. During this same era, early 1900s, scientists were doing groundbreaking work to understand basic mechanics of life and human health. It was during this time that most of the essential vitamins were discovered, including B1, B2, biotin, vitamin C, vitamin A, vitamin D, etc. By identifying these vitamins, science took a huge step forward and enabled simple vitamin remedies to cure conditions that were caused by vitamin deficiencies, like scurvy and rickets. And of course, scientists were also involved in research to recreate synthetic versions of these vitamins in a laboratory. Because again, you could patent those things and make a lot of money down the line. In 1935, vitamin C became the first vitamin to be artificially synthesized in Switzerland. Rockefeller was smart enough to see this as a big opportunity, with the possibility that vitamins and medications could be developed from petroleum. He saw the chance to control and monopolize multiple industries at once: petroleum, chemical, and medical. And of course, petrochemicals were ideal from a business perspective because they could be patented, owned, and sold for high profits. There was one big problem with his plan. Natural and herbal medicines were very popular in America during the early 1900s. Almost one half of the medical colleges and doctors in America were practicing holistic medicine, using extensive knowledge from Europe and Native American traditions. Rockefeller knew that to get total control of the medical industry, he would have to expunge the competition. Rockefeller's first move was to use his vast wealth from oil to purchase part of the German pharmaceutical company IG Farben. Yes, the infamous Farben, IG Farben, and there are the ones that made the gas for the gas chambers in WW2 that the Nazis used. Who was in IG Farben? Who had stake in the Bush family? Yes, great grandpappy Bush. Yes, this is also interconnected. Also, again, then you see the interconnection with people like Henry Ford as well, and multiple others. Did you know, again, that Pope John Paul II was actually a salesperson for IG Farben? Here you go. Pope today, well, now he's, somewhere in the lower 4D. Yeah, he's having fun playing canasta with the Draco. I don't know how to play canasta, but apparently he does. And anyway, he was a salesperson for this before he became, the leader of the Catholic world. Everything is a lie and an illusion. Everything that's mainstream is complete BS. There might be some truths. They'll give you little truths, because they have to. Otherwise, it'll be too obvious. But they always distort it. Now that he had control of the drug manufacturing company, he could move forward with his plan to eliminate the competition. In the early 1900s, there were a variety of doctors and healing modalities in America. Some of the medical specialties included chiropractic, naturopathy, homeopathy, holistic medicine, herbal medicine. To eliminate the competition, Rockefeller hired a contractor named Abraham Flexner to submit a report to Congress in 1910. This report concluded that there were too many doctors and medical schools in America, and that all the natural healing modalities which had existed for hundreds of years were unscientific quackery. The report called for standardization of the medical education, whereby only the AMA, which is another one of their monopolies, would be allowed to grant medical school licensure in the U.S. Certainly, Flexner's report did have some valid points, but unfortunately, the motives for the report were entirely driven by Rockefeller's desire for complete control of the medical system. Based on the report, Congress acted upon Flexner's recommendations and changed laws related to medical practice. Again, people get bought off. It's just that simple. Incredibly, allopathic medicine became the standard modality, even though at the time its main treatment methods were bloodletting, surgery, quite barbaric at the time, and the injection of toxic heavy metals, lead and mercury, to supposedly displace disease. With new laws in place, Rockefeller teamed up with Andrew Carnegie and started funding medical schools all over America on the strict condition that they only taught allopathic medicine. Through the power of their huge grants, this powerful team systemically dismantled the previous curricula of these medical schools, removing any mention of the healing power of herbs or natural treatments. Teachings on diet and other natural non-drug treatments were also completely removed from medical programs. After removing traditional medicine from medical schools, Rockefeller made sure to secure his monopoly by launching a targeted smear campaign against his competitors. Homeopathy and natural medicines were discredited and demonized through the newspapers and other media at the time. Some doctors were even jailed for using natural medicine treatments, including treatments that had been used safely and effectively for decades before. In a very short time, medical colleges were all homogenized. All the students were taught the same allopathic system, and medicine was now defined as a process of prescribing patented drugs. A pill for an ill became the mindset of American medicine. One shocking fact that this author found while researching the post was that he didn't stop at U.S. borders. He actually went to China to spread Western medicine. Upon hearing this, I actually got chills down my spine. Rockefeller wasn't content with just wiping out traditional medicine in America. He saw the bigger market on the other side of the world and wanted to remove traditional Chinese medicine from China. Luckily, his venture in China mostly failed, and the practice of traditional Chinese medicine was preserved for centuries to come. But then again, now in this article is, I want to say a few years old, everything in China is, again, it's so westernized. They're being handed the power structure. So again, Western medicine is the preeminent medicine. To quickly summarize what happened in China, the China Medical Board was created in 1914 by Rockefeller Foundation and provided with a $12 million grant. The RF's goal was to modernize medical education and improve the practice of medicine in China, started by building a hospital in Beijing. Peking Union Medical College opened in 1919, but they were unable to expand to other locations as planned due to mounting expenses. In short, the diligent work of Rockefeller and Carnegie was a smashing success. They crushed the underfunded grassroots competition and created our current medical system. The system continues today, wherein Big Pharma makes large donations to medical schools in exchange for teaching the medical students to use their patented drugs. And many doctors have admitted that they literally have quotas to sell, like a salesperson. And they also get kickbacks when they do sell certain things. As part of this system, many alternative treatments are criminalized. For example, by law, it's illegal to treat cancer with any modality except chemotherapy, surgery, or radiation. It's actually a criminal felony for a medical practitioner to treat cancer with anything but these three modalities. Why is this the case? Follow the money. The average cost of a cancer treatment is $150,000. So clearly, Rockefeller and his presidents were keen on keeping the monopoly on this one. And of course, the American Cancer Society was founded by none other than John D. Rockefeller in 1913. Hopefully, this post will shed a bit of light on the history of our current medical system. At the very least, we can all be less surprised when patients are treated like customers and when medications cost thousands of dollars per month. We should also not be surprised when we're facing with the fact that cost of medical care in America is rated number 1 in the world, yet the quality of our medical care is rated at 37, just below Costa Rica. Unfortunately, these are the natural effects that occur when our medical system is run like a mega corporation instead of a service to the people. On a final note, you may notice there are no grainy black and white pictures of John D. Rockefeller in this post. Perhaps you can guess why. All the images are owned and their use must be paid for. Yeah. Rockefeller Center in New York, and I have other ones too here. I'll put all the links there for you guys to look at other people's positions on this. And we're given GMO foods. Who are we giving so much of this GMO stuff from, and fake meat and stuff? It's Gil Bates. This is all part of the same snake oil sales approach. They give us food, which is it might look great. The carrot might be 3 times as big as the organic carrot, but it's got less nutrition. Why less nutrition? Because you're not going to be healthy, and you're going to need to go back, and it's again more sales. Look to history. Spanish flu pandemic, 1918, 1920. We were just talking about those things on the face and how they've led to an awful lot of problems. Even the pooch there. Yeah. 99% proof against influenza. This history repeats itself. History repeats itself. Does that make a lot of sense? No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to make sense. Again, they think we are all just ignorant monkeys. That's it. They're just monkeys. They're going to go along. But even monkeys sometimes, have their day against the biggest predators out there.
And, you know, if you're listening to this, you've definitely been called to have an awakening and take a look around you, because we do have power. We can change our course if we're ready, if we're ready. And a lot of people are, and we are growing in numbers. And one of the things that I find so sad about this whole thing is that so many people are in the medical industry because they have a calling to help other people. They truly, truly, truly want to help, but they're having to help under a set of rules and guidelines that's not from the soul. It's like you have to follow these policies and procedures. So it's like putting a harness on someone who would be a healer, and it's like leading them around and saying, oh, but you're going to do it this way, you know. And that's why we have to go within and follow our soul, listen to our heart. And that's the path that we take.
Absolutely. You know, and so we don't pull punches. We don't want to pull punches. We couldn't pull punches. This is who we are. So, you know, again, we're not out here to have the biggest channels. We just want to wake up as many as we can to every single way in which humanity is being controlled. And you'll have people, again, that will wake up to one and then maybe a second, but they can't let go of that third mode of control or the fourth mode of control. And a lot of times it's just built in. But I got to sniffle. I got to go to the DR. You know, how about just boosting your immune system? Maybe, you know, give yourself 16 to 24 hours to just intermittent fast. What do animals do when they're not feeling well? They certainly don't eat. They allow the body to repair itself. Send energy into, because again, your intentions, we know from quantum physics, and you know, we understand too from the mystery traditions, that it's all about intention. It is all about intention to manifestation. So charge your water that you're drinking. If you're going to have some lemon tea, organic lemon tea, chop up some fresh ginger, throw it in there, get yourself some zinc, you know, some vitamin C that's not synthetic. You know, again, just give yourself a little time to heal naturally and boost your immune system. When we take antibiotics, and what's the definition? It's against life, anti-life. Biotics are life, right? It's pretty simple. It's a scorched earth plan. It's like, well, there's weeds in the garden. Let's just burn the whole garden. Yeah, hello. Do you really want to burn the whole garden down because you got some weeds? And then again, they'll say, you know, you got to keep up with the Joneses. Oh, those horrible dandelions. I feel so bad for you. You have such horrible dandelions growing in your yard. You could have a perfect yard like ours. Yeah, go spread these chemicals, poison your water, you know, give yourself cancer because, you know, again, you're going to just end up at the DR and it's going to be another $150,000 for the Rockefeller Foundation. Yeah, but your yard's going to look good. Meanwhile, those dandelions could have actually helped your health. And instead of, you know, giving yourself cancer from exposure to the chemicals. And I say this from experiences. I've had family members. I had a family member that worked for a certain company that's what they did. And in his mid-30s, he got cancer and thought he was probably going to die. He did make it. He got through it. Hope you guys got something out of this. Thanks for your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon. Much love. God bless. Namaste.
Namaste.